Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game, why does it always happen this way? Apparently I'm still recovering from a bit of a cold. I do feel much better. Thank you for, well, I don't know if you asked, but yep, I do feel a little bit better. Let's go ahead and break things down in this undead mirror match. VietnamGosu spawning as the yellow undead on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, we have Fantafiction spawning as the orange undead. Undead versus undead. Unraveling here as we are going to be looking at a Crypt Lord going up against a Lich first. Alright, non-standard heroes opening up out of the gate here. Lich versus Crypt Lord should be very interesting, as the Lich will most likely be picking up a Rod of Necromancy, going for Frost Nova and Dark Ritual. Meanwhile, the Crypt Lord going to be picking up that Rod of Necromancy, and we'll see Scrolls of Town Portal. There's one sold, as the Crypt Lord now makes its way out. Could be going for that go wide strategy, as the Crypt Lord now makes his way off to the top right here. Lich, however, already has ideas of putting pressure on to the actual undead base. That is the benefit of going for Lich, Orc, and Crypt Lord first. Your spells are actually effective against the other player. That Frost Nova could really, well, spell doom to certain things, as we see already a Nerubian tower up, but there is not much currently going on inside the base here. A lot of bad things can happen. Are we going to see an Acolyte? Well, last attack right there, both sides fighting their way. One Nerubian tower may not be enough, as we see a Rod of Necromancy charge quickly used on end here. Another Acolyte going to get taken out here. That could be a bit of a problem, as the Lich now trying to, well, move away from all of the action here. Another Ghoul could get taken down. There is another Frost Nova. Ghoul is taken down there. There goes another Acolyte, as the Lich is down to 81 hit points and forced to retreat back. This was a lot of medium damage here. Lich and teleports away. Acolytes need to get retrained up, I believe. Yes, 2 Acolytes down. 2 additional Acolytes need to be trained. Not quite sure what the delay is, as the Ghouls now make their way off to the north. Meanwhile, 1 Acolyte off over here could try to haunt this gold mine, but, well, should perhaps head back here and try and get a little bit more gold that way instead. Meanwhile, VietnamGosu already off on the north side after that Scroll of Town Portal. An interesting play. This was all part of VietnamGosu's original plan. He purposely didn't sell that Scroll of Town Portal for a one-way trip back home, after he knew he would have to commit quite a bit. With that, he is using this time, he's healed up, and he's setting up an expo of his own. Meanwhile, we can take a look back at Fantafiction's plan. Fantafiction is trying to set up his own expo. He needs to get more Acolytes going, getting up a backpack upgrade as well, as we see a Skeletal Minion has also scouted out this location off to the north. New Acolytes could be trained. There's a Nerubian tower. This one Skeletal Minion gonna perhaps, well, just simply fall to the wayside as the Nerubian tower gets those shots in. Another Skeletal Minion now looking to back up here. You can see that, well, Dark Ritual, or that Ritual Dagger applied here, as we're going to be going into some engagements. Again, are we going to see an Impale? No, we do not. Beetles are out, and here we are trying to get a little bit of damage, but once that Nerubian tower is up, well, harassment is just that much more difficult. Speaking of Nerubian towers getting up and harassment, the Carrion Beetle currently pressuring this Acolyte here, as a second Ziggurat is now being placed down as well. Alright, damage needs to be done. We're going to look at this Beetle here, down to 140 some odd hit points, Skeletal Minions, and that Lich is going to get that easy kill there. We could look at the Lich trying to clear out the Murlocs here as well. Perhaps first player to get to level 3 will have a big advantage, and that is what Fantafiction's going for. Going after this a giant sea turtle creep camp will give him level 3. Level 2 Beetles would be a huge advantage, as they're going to start taking the place of those original lower hit point level 1 Beetles. Those Carrion Beetles, essentially Ghouls now, dealing 15 to 18 damage with 300 hit points. Meanwhile, Lich coming over trying to, well, stop the Acolytes from being able to do any mining. We're looking at the Haunted Gold Mine now taking quite a bit of damage. Lich does not have a Scroll of Town Portal to get away this time. There's a massive Impale, which is going to buy quite a bit of time here, but still not enough as the Crypt Lord, well, takes down one, perhaps maybe two ghouls. All right, Lich continuing to fight back here. There's a handful of beetles trying to swarm as all the units are falling back once more. This is just perfectly falling into place for VietnamGosu, who has played a calculating game. He has his expo set up as the as additional acolytes are being trained. At some point, VietnamGosu will be teching to tier 2, and right now what Fantafiction has is the hero level advantage. All right, 2 Nerubian towers about to be up. Ghouls gonna get shut down here. There's a sentry ward, there's an impale, and that ghoul, well, hitting the ground, falling right there. Big Frost Nova, big cloud burst or star burst of damage coming back across as the Lich is trying to finish off some more of these units again. Are we going to see another, well, ghoul getting taken down? Yes, we are, as the Crypt Lord does have a sentry ward to keep track of all of this. Ghoul is trying to clean up perhaps some of these additional units here, taking down these carrion beetles. Lich will get up to level 3, which is incredibly important, as we've seen the beetles here, the level 3 giving additional hit points to those beetles and additional damage. All right, we're looking at a third Nerubian tower getting upgraded here. Lich is still racking up quite a bit of damage. There's a nasty Frost Nova there, and all of those skeletal minions and beetles should get taken down. All right, one down, another down. And with all of those units down, the harassment has come to an end. 27 supply compared to 27. Who's mined more gold? Well, obviously VietnamGosu, since he's the only one that's actually gotten this haunted gold mine up. But a quick thing to note, well, overall status on the game is about the same. Similar supply with Fantafiction having that hero level advantage. Now, the tech to tier 2 has started on both sides as well. And we have Fantafiction with a slight advantage there, as well the Lich comes across to try and get in more stopped mining. Lich has a very, very bad time, though. Is he going to be able to finish off any of these ghoul or any of these additional acolytes? The acolytes, however, importantly, are not mining. As long as they are not mining, they're going to be dealing some major damage, as now the Crypt Lord is not able to catch up at all. Additional ghouls are trying to slow down those acolytes here. You can see another quick heal off of that skeletal minion, as that Lich should be backing away. Meanwhile, all of these acolytes are hanging back here. No one is mining back at that main base, as this Lich has to be extremely careful, need to escape away from those ghouls who still do not have Frenzy as of yet. All right, couple more dark rituals trying to ensure that experience isn't given to Fantafiction, giving him a bigger hero level advantage. All right. Skeletal minion quickly getting purged by that Null Warden there. Lich slowly regenerating hit points, and VietnamGosu, well, in a little bit of a precarious spot actually. 25 supply compared to 31. His tech to tier 2 is a little bit behind, and he's a little bit behind in hero level. And all of that at the same time while mining more gold from that gold mine and being able to harass more. Fantafiction is doing some textbook play on how to deal with harassment and not fall behind. All right, Rock Golem. Rock Golem about to get taken down here. Goblin Shredder most likely just going to be sent back home to work. And that Crypt Lord is going to be staying strong at level 4, finishing off the remainder of those creeps here, as a Death Knight will soon be joining in on the fight. Crypt Lord will definitely love the appearance of a Death Knight here. Some nice burst heals. Could even perhaps hand off the Robe of Magi to that Death Knight, giving a little bit more mana and, well, essentially health to that Crypt Lord, who does need a couple of death coils. All right. Come on, wait, come on. No death coil? No death coil from the Death Knight yet. A little bit odd, as the Death Knight would benefit from regenerating a little bit of mana here. Meanwhile, Crypt Lord still tanking quite a bit of damage. Back off to the other side, Lich and Death Knight with a Gargoyle in the air. We are looking at dual Crypt, getting up a Slaughterhouse, and we are also going to Black Citadel on both sides. VietnamGosu getting to the Black Citadel first, unless it has to be cancelled. So, well, Fantafiction taking a little bit longer at tier 2 as we are. What was that? Was that Goblin Sappers? That had to have been Goblin Sappers taking down that Ziggurat so quickly. That Nerubian Tower. All right, more damage racked up here. Lich still trying to finish off all of these units. Textbook harassment. There is that goes an impale. The Death Coil does go down on the Gargoyle. On that Lich to stay alive, and the Death Knight does need another Death Coil to try and keep that Lich alive. The Lich is very fragile, trying to head back home now. There is another Impale there. There might be a Death Coil. Is the Lich going to be alive? Yes, it is. Survives at 9 hit points. Lich able to retreat all the way back home, survives at 9 hit points. This Death Knight here just simply gonna, try to mosey on through. May end up getting surrounded. And VietnamGosu, not really paying attention, double backed around the wrong way through the undead army. And now Fantafiction, trying to shake off the harassment and build on his hero level advantage. Tech to tier 3 nearly done. Meanwhile, Lich already has the Orb of Corruption, now traveling away from home with a Scroll of Town Portal. Scroll of Town Portal, never leave home without it, unless you sell it early on to buy a whole bunch of other stuff and then buy one later. Anyways. I don't know, it feels like back in the meta in like 2002, 2003, 2004, like we rarely saw people really selling their Scrolls of Town Portal early on. Maybe with the Blade Master later, as the Blade Master. Well, Blade Master really didn't become really popular as a starting hero until Windwalk actually allowed the Blade Master to walk past units and having no collision. So yeah, I think it was actually around. It was not until that Blade Master started being able to walk past and through units did you really start to see players sell their early Scroll of Town Portal, starting with the Blade Master first. Back across here, Lich sitting at level 4. Death Knight, level 1 Death Knight resurrects quickly and is already back out on the battlefield, as the Death Knight should get to level 2 off of this Rock Golem creep camp. Down to the south here, Fantafiction looking to set up an additional expo as the Crypt Lord purposely backs away. Death Knight will be just shy of level 3 here, but it can pick up, perhaps go after this Burrowed Carrion Beetle creep camp, or go after additional creep camps here, if he actually knew where his opponent was. All right, doesn't feel quite safe. He doesn't want his back exposed, and this is Fantafiction doing a good job making sure that all of the beetles were off to the north, while all of the Crypt Fiends and Obsidian statues were on the south side here, with their back more exposed towards the base. All right. Well, it looks like VietnamGosu continuing this harassment strategy and taking down ghoul after ghoul. Dark Ranger taking quite a bit of piercing damage here, as we see a Frost Nova and just more damage racking up against all of these units. Dark Ranger has a silence first. Scroll of Town Portal inbound. No, not a Scroll of Town Portal, just a Staff of Teleportation, and that kind of forces, perhaps a nervous reaction by VietnamGosu, thinking that it was a Scroll of Town Portal instead. All right, perhaps a little bit of a head fake there, as the Crypt Lord sells some items, picks up a Scroll of Town Portal, and we see, the Lich with Claws of Attack, +8, +5, and that Orb of Corruption, giving +18 damage. VietnamGosu looking at 70 supply, meanwhile Fantafiction looking at 57. Fantafiction, starting to lose the supply race further, as he's constantly just getting harassed and needing to resaturate this haunted gold mine. Meanwhile, though, his hero levels, level 5, level 3, could make a very big deal if Fanta can actually get away with this Crypt Lord. The Crypt Lord doesn't want to be in this fight, as Yeah, he doesn't want to be in this fight. He wants all of the experience to go to the other two heroes and perhaps build on his hero level advantage. Criplord being at level 5 here. Level 3 Beetles. There goes a Frost Nova. Obsidian Statue is going to work a bit of overtime to heal up all of these units, perhaps drain a bit of mana as both sides are about to engage. Gargoyles are here. Crypt Fiends need web. Ghouls are going to engage here, and here we are. Here we go. We're going to see an Impale. Frost Nova going down, and the Crypt Fiends, there goes webs onto all of those air units there, as we're looking at a lot of damage racked up against those ghouls, or from those ghouls. The Impale perhaps a little bit late, trying to stop those ghouls in their tracks. Obsidian Statue able to teleport away as, well, VietnamGosu forces the Scroll of Town portal, and now we are looking at Fantafiction's, well, outpost about to be taken down. Alright, 74 supply compared to 68. Death Knight is sitting at level 3 on both sides. This Destroyer needs a Death Coil to stay alive here, as we're going to an engagement now. Crypt Fiends need a little bit more web in order to bring down those Gargoyles. Bringing down the Gargoyles is key to keeping the Destroyers alive, as we're looking at one Destroyer who was recently transformed, finally getting that Death Coil, who's about to be taken down just moments ago. Both sides still fighting their way through. A little bit of, well, divide and conquer. One Crypt Fiend not even joining in on the battle for some strange reason, as we're looking at more engagement here. Ghouls trying to swarm through. A little bit of massive Impale across the center, stopping many of those ghouls in their tracks. Maybe Impale Frost Nova, if the Lich can get to level 3, would start to clean up all of these units. Hello there. Death Knight hanging back once more. The Haunted Gold Mine. Well, nothing is getting gold out of this gold mine at all, as it is about to be taken down. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Slaughterhouse training up some Obsidian Statues again, getting a little bit more mana. Burrowed Crypt Fiend sticking his head in the sand, while in Blight regenerating a good amount of hit points. So far, in terms of execution, great job by VietnamGosu. He's been building up and building up. A lot of harassment. He allowed Fantafiction to take a little bit of a hero level advantage, but the economic advantage coming across from VietnamGosu has really started to show, as he's banking 1,000 gold while sitting on an 80 supply army. Now, he does need a bit more lumber. That is the problem and the limiting factor right now. Only sitting at 45 lumber. Perhaps they'll be buying a good amount of items in this next upcoming fight. Destroyers are ready to try and engage. We're looking at a little beetle here, Necropolis, having a little bit of a roach infestation early on. Are we going to be engaging? Yes, we are. Both sides about to be fighting. Dark Ranger, well, Frost Nova going down across the center there, and trying to just exchange blows. The Lich at level 4, nearing a level 5. Once it gets to level 5 on this Lich, we're going to start seeing those Frost Novas really transform and start taking large chunks out of the undead army. Obsidian Statues trying to replenish some of those hit points, and I don't know if that's actually an efficient use of mana, as both sides are going to engage here. All right, quick auto attack from the Destroyers, trying to focus down those Obsidian Statues who are weak to that magic attack. One more Destroyer ready to be transformed when the time comes, as there are still some creep camps out on the map for VietnamGosu to try and take. Not quite sure why this isn't the case here. Necropolis nearly done. Ziggurat are now being summoned up, as Angry Acolyte, well, does like his tower defense. All right, in comes some engagement here. We're going to go after some of these Acolytes. One Acolyte already down. Additional Acolytes could get taken down here in just a second. Scroll of Town portal now inbound, as the units are going to be trying to retreat back, and there they are off to the north, getting ready. Dark Ranger, are we going to see a silence or anything like that? There's a Death Coil for the save, and perhaps there was a silence on the Crypt Lord earlier. Anyways, Crypt Fiend about to get taken down. Lich just still shy. There's a massive Impale there across the center. Both sides fighting their way through, as we see multiple webs going down. Double level up. Level 5 Lich, level 3 Dark Ranger. going at it now as both sides are just trying to keep their armies alive, winning this war of attrition. All right, there goes another Impale again. A bunch of low hit point units. Crypt Fiends about to get taken down, and there's a Death Coil for the save once more. Who's going to come out on top? 67 supply compared to 60. VietnamGosu losing this war of attrition right now in terms of numbers, as we're looking at perhaps the Lich trying to blast his way to get his way back in. 55 supply compared to 70. Fantafiction with a beautiful hold here, keeping some of these low hit point Crypt Fiends alive as well. Meanwhile, it looks as though the haunted gold mine here on the bottom left actually destroyed, so it needs to be rebuilt. Not quite sure how or what happened here, but that gold mine needs to be reestablished if he wants to run off of 3 bases. Meanwhile, main gold mines are down to about a minute of mining left, and that is it. We're going to be coming across a scenario now where Fantafiction, because he established up his expo later, is going to have more gold out on the battlefield, or more opportunities to mine gold, as we now see VietnamGosu coming in head first with those fast-moving gargoyles, only to see them getting webbed down so quickly. Crypt Fiend trying to escape from all of the action quickly gets taken down. There goes an Impale there. Both sides still fighting their way through. 72 supply compared to 65. Fantafiction, currently winning the supply war. 66 supply compared to 47 in terms of just actual army, and still both sides engaging back and forth. It looks like VietnamGosu just doesn't have a way to spend his gold to train up more units, as he doesn't have enough lumber, and without units on the battlefield, the supply discrepancy is really going towards Fantafiction here. All right, additional Ziggurat getting attacked in the backside, another Death Coil in the back, both sides trying to see who can win out in this fight. And are we about to hit level 3 for, yes, the Lich of Fantafiction. Level 3 Lich on Fantafiction now going to be able to get that level 2 Frost Nova going down, perhaps get some more damage onto those trailing units, as we see a Destroyer getting webbed down and taken out. The remainders of this expo will end up falling. Necropolis going to get taken down, not even bothering to unsummon the Necropolis here, as once this falls, it's going to come down to this base versus this base. And remember, because Fantafiction established this base later, he actually has 2,800 more gold in the bank, or in its reserve, translating to about 5 minutes of mining. All right, Fantafiction with a large supply advantage now. Not quite sure. Angry Acolyte had plenty of opportunities to get that Lich to level 5 faster. That would have translated to some bigger damage, perhaps going after this Granite Golem creep camp when he had the larger army would have been a good, strong call. Obsidian Statue now coming back across here. Death Coil going to save that Lich, as the Scroll of Town Portal now teleporting everyone back over to that main base. All right, back into the main base. That Scroll of Town Portal was not aimed well, as all of the units are now trying to retreat back. Frost Nova, Ghoul is going to try and engage here. Death Knight could have a little bit of trouble. Is he going to try and retreat back here? Does he have a potion of healing? No, only a potion of mana. Or did he just use a potion of healing? As both sides, they're fighting their way through. Lich out of mana right now. Frostworm does not want to engage against all of these Crypt Fiends here, as we're going to look at a quick web bringing down that Frostworm now. All right, Crypt Fiends looking to finish off all of those units. Another big Impale, and VietnamGosu about to fall to Fantafiction. It's just a matter of time now, as VietnamGosu had a very strong opening number and played a very strong pressure game, but really never was able to take control of the game. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Here are the final scores. Yeah, look at gold mined. The difference in lumber, perhaps the big difference there, allowing Fantafiction to continue to train up more units instead of just having a reserve of gold in the bank. Also, hero level advantage translating, making the difference there overall. resource score actually higher for Fantafiction because of that lumber discrepancy.